that can pull that out of us to make us be the men we should be, and then when we lack, we get lazy because we have nobody to encourage us to do better. Just like you said, when you came here and then you started, your mind and your thinking started to change because what we were teaching here, and then what you learned on the outside by being through your situations, you learned to control your anger, your fear, and then we're going to get into another word, the shame, because some of us as men, we are shameful because the situation that we're in. We ain't going to tell nobody we're ashamed, but if you call somebody out and tell them, you know, you this your punk, he's going to...
Oh, we're going to come out swinging.
Oh, exactly right. So, what happens, so what do we do then, brothers? What do we do when we fall in this trap of society, when they set the trap for it? It seems like all of us men, majority of us, we all fall in that trap.
I just want to echo what Brother Josh was talking about, far as when a man feels intimidated by a woman doing better than he is. Sometimes some men, they can cause commitment issues.
Yes, yes.
So they do like, well, what's my point of being here? So they probably will try to find somebody else instead of resolving this issue. Then that's another issue, things like that. That's right. Just by, I guess, trying to find that comfortability and that stability what they need for mentally, like, hey, so they can feel men again instead of feeling less than a man. It's part of this thing with this woman. So when they experience commitment issues, or don't know how to treat the women, lack of communication, and unwillingness to do this and that, things like that. I guess the word is being passive.
Passive. And we talked about in our manhood class about reject passivity, reject passivity, lead courageously. What's the other one?
Accept responsibility.
Accept responsibility. There you go. That's what manhood is. But those things we don't learn. I didn't learn that when I was younger. I don't know nothing about being passive. If everybody don't know what word passive means, meaning that you hold yourself back. You don't speak out for yourself or speak about certain things when it comes to you being a man and taking a stand. And many of us, a lot of men will fight back when it comes to that because of the fear thing. They don't want nobody to feel that they are soft or they're punk or they're this or sissy. They'll fight back, but actually, they really don't know. And they hurt on the inside.
I want to answer your question about the trap thing.
Yes.
I think society sets that trap for us.
That's
and
right.
we're going to fall into that trap.
Yes.
One way or another,
yes.
Society has made that trap.
Yes.
And one way or another, we are going to step into the trap.
We do.
But what do we do when we step into that trap? How do we get out? We come out swinging.
Yes.
We come out suicide. We come out with gangs.
Yes.
Because that you could be suffering from two things. The father wound, about the father you've never had,
yes,
or the mother wound.
Yes.
Because as a mother, your job is to nurture your child, to teach him what's right and wrong. As a man's responsibility too. But I think in my life, to be honest with you, I'm more closer to my mom than I am my dad.
Right.
But it took me a long time to get to the point where I could really open up to my dad.
Yeah.
Because he's a man.
Right, right.
So it took me a while, and I'm gonna tell you one thing. When I was growing up, when I was about 9 or 10, I talked to my grandpa more than I did anybody else in the family.
Right.
But when my grandpa died, my dad and him were not really that close.
Okay.
So I never really got to see my grandpa as much as I wanted to. But that made a wound in me that is still to this day isn't healed.
Sure, it's not healed.
Because society, like I said, it's double standard.
Yeah.
Society sets a trap for us, and sooner or later, one of us is going to step into the trap.
Sure, sure.
But when we're in the trap, we do what we can to get out of the trap. And when we do, society's there to put us in jail.
Yeah, condemn us, yes. Yeah. Okay, so with all that said, brothers, now how do we, as brothers, and as men, and talking to the men out there that's listening to, or women as well, how do we fix the problem of us controlling our violence against women and our girls? Because the box is telling us, dictating, we look at women one way. We look at women, we are moved by what we see. Yeah, as a sex object, because that's how, since every time you look at a television, what's on television? Women and sex. It sells it.
And drugs.
And drugs. So the society is telling us as men that we need to look at you women as sex objects because that's what sells. But on the other hand, as a woman, we know that you as and you want a man that's going to love you and care for you, not look at you as a certain object, but society tells you as a woman, well, you got to be a certain size. You got to wear this certain thing. You got to wear this type of lipstick. You got to wear these type of shoes, this type of dress. You got to expose yourself to cleavage and this. But then, on the other hand, but when a man approaches the woman and says, well, you think you're all that, and then that's when the rape comes in. That's when the abuse comes in. That's when all that, because society is projecting that against us. So how do you feel about that?
I feel that, first and foremost, we as men need to be honest with ourselves. If you know that you're not doing something right, go to a program, talk to somebody, or improve your communication with another man, or start your own little separate group and just talk things out and say, and I take heed to your understanding, like for my granddad. If I did anything, he would say something about it, like it shouldn't be that way, it should be this way.
Right, right.
But I really think that we should really reconsider how we treat our women and talk about women.
Yes.
Because when I was growing up, I did express my hurt and pain on females, but also use my hurt and pain. I also use females to get over my hurt and pain. Also or just not to deal with it at that moment. But again, the wound and the issue is still there.
Sure.
So I say being honest and stop putting a rug on top of rug, because it's dirt in a rug and more dirt.
That's
than
right.
Rug,
That's
more
right.
dirt than rug.
That's right.
So it's basically you just building yourself up to go with what Brother Josh said, living in the double standard with society. So you making work by yourself by fulfilling the way where society wants you to go.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to really stand against society and get out this man box. But first, we have to understand what the man box is.
Yes.
So by us doing this talk show and letting know what the man box is to other men, then they will have a more broader understanding. Like, hey, I need to get out of this man box.
That's right.
I need to do what I need. I have to do what I have to do, and not live up to the expectation of men,
Right.
which is societal perception.
Exactly.
And get out of this box so we can do all what we can do.
Brother Josh, how do you feel we can rectify the way we as men, in ways society tells us as men, how to respect or treat our women and our girls? Because we all got sisters, we got mothers, and we know other women, and they're fearful of their lives out in the streets.
Yeah, I think I just want to go back to what I'm gonna answer the question, but I want to go back to what you said about the women, how they dress and stuff. See, when a woman gets an idea into her head that she should dress like this, but that's the bad girl. But what happens when a good man steps in to fill that role?
Yes.
She's gonna be like, oh no, you're not the bad boy type. Like, I'm used to the bad boy type. But see, inside she's hurting because the bad boy ended up hurting her.
That's right.
And also we need to stop and think about how we treat our women, because women are the ones that populate the earth.
Absolutely.
They're the ones who conceive.
That's right.
They're the ones, anybody can have sex and get a girl pregnant, but it takes a true man to stay there and raise that child.
Lead, protect, and provide.
Right. So we need to stop looking at our women as sex objects. It's going to be really hard because that's what society wants us to do.
Yes.
But we have to think in our mind. I know this is a Christian-based organization, but we got to think about what would God do in that situation.
Right.
Would he go look at it as a piece of meat? Oh yeah, I'm gonna get this piece of meat.
Right.
And then hit it and leave.
Yeah.
Or are you really going to stay there and do your job as a man?
That's right.
I just want to add a little bit more to what Brother Josh said. I think we as men, we need to understand what our women go through.
Right. We
Or how
do.
difficult that was. I know we talked about it last time it was on air, but women go through more really than what men go through.
Oh boy, they do.
I know that men say it's hard out here for us because society against us, expect us to do this and that. But again, it's up to the individual not to live up to society's perception of who we are as men or the impact that we do in our own job in our community.
Yeah.
Women was always looked down for many years.
Yes.
Always said that they couldn't do this, can't
That's
do
right.
that. In actuality, they could do much more than a man.
Sure.
But we just have to understand the impact that they can make also too, just as the impact that we can make as well. So I know women struggle as far as coming in politics.
Sure.
Women was always looked down coming up in Congress. Women couldn't do this, couldn't do that.
Absolutely.
So when we give women, just as men are equal women are equal also as well.
Yeah, because God created us all equal.
We're all brothers and
Yes, in the spirit, we are the same. Physically, we are different because yes, we have a physical difference, but spiritually, we are the same, and we need to treat each other like that. But society and man, with his greed, has tried to take over the thousands of years that we have been in existence, that men has walked this earth, that we as men supposed to be in control. That's not so much true, because he made a woman to be your helpmate. Not for you to beat on her, not for you to abuse her either verbally or physically, or to take advantage of them in a way that's going to humiliate them. And you know, and I'm glad you said what you said, Brother Josh, because sometimes there's women out there, they'll let the bad guy or the bad boy so-called image come around, they'll lay down with them, they'll have sex with them, have 4 or 5 babies, or whatever it may be, or whatever it may be.
But the man's not true to her.
Yeah, the man's not true to her, but when a good man comes around, she don't know how to handle that good man, because she ain't never been treated that way, so then she dogs him out, and then the good man, and that's why, you know, I guess that saying comes that way, even though I'm in my 50s, but they're always saying it's like the good guy always finishes last. You see what I'm saying? Because the good guy, and that's what we should know, but that's what God made us to be, was to be good men. But when we, like you say, but when we be good men, we seem to be criticized and ridiculed and condemned for trying to be the good man.
Something wrong with you.
See what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
There's something wrong with you.
That's right.
You psycho. You.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's because.
That's right.
Just as like we had that man box.
Yes.
Society also had this woman box.
Yes, that's right.
So
that's right.
Just like we used to our environment, used to seeing this, that, vice versa from a woman perspective, do the same thing. Like they see man part of their TV nose, shirt, and all this stuff like that. So, and all they see is the bad guys, things like that. So of course they're gonna want it. It goes back to what Brother John said. They've been hurt by a bad person, so that's the only thing that they want to go back to. I heard women say, well, I started with something new when I just finished doing this right here. Or they always say, why would I go start something new and end up getting hurt by somebody new? Well, I can stay here and just finish this.
But see, and that's the problem. We as men fall in that box too. We rather settle for good than rather settling for the best. We don't want the best, but see, God wants all of us to have the best. And he wants us as men to be leaders, providers, and protectors. He wants to be our best, but we are not acting in that role. And that's why we are having the problems we have as being men, because we settle for less. We want to be conformed. We want to have the nice cars. We want to have the nice clothes. We want to have all the beautiful women. But in that context, that's not matter. Yeah, because if you operate in how God created us to be, then we can be that man. Yes.
Can I say something along that line? What you said with the guy, the cars, and the clothes. See, when they get that,
yes,
are they really happy?
No, because
exactly.
No,
they're not happy.
That's right.
They're happy at the moment that I got all this and that. But deep down inside, they're still hurting. They may take their car out for a ride and think, oh boy, I'm living life. But deep inside, they're really hurting.
And why is that, Josh? Why aren't men happy when they get those things? Why do you think?
Because they're just materialistic things. They don't have the love of a woman.
Okay.
See, when you get materialistic things are easy to replace.
Sure.
That's money. Money's easy to replace. But finding that good woman in your life is going to be a challenge. Because it's gonna really hurt you. Because you may have all the fancy stuff, but you don't have what a man needs is love.
That's right.
You cannot get love from materialistic things.
That's right.
Because when you get more materialistic things and you start making more money, you don't get more materialistic things.
That's right.
And materialistic men are not happy.
No, they're not.
They're hurting deep down inside.
That's right. Absolutely.
I just want to echo a little bit.
That's right.
I'm glad that John brought this one because I was thinking
That's right.
the same thing.
That's
They
right.
always say money create more problems.
It does.
Most times, I'll be meditating. If I had money or this much money that I would like,
Yeah.
where would I be at? Where I still, what would change? The only thing would change is just money.
Yeah.
But mentally, physically, emotionally, I would still be in the same position that I was in before I had the money. So I think money's not the solution.
Yeah.
Money can't solve your hidden issues or your wounds that you're still dealing with physically, mentally, emotionally. You have to go through a program so you can feel good about yourself.
Yes.
Inside, so you can be able to go through life happy without the money.
Yes.
Basically being content with every little thing that you have, what God called us to do. Be content with the small things you have.
That's right. That's right.
That's right, brother.
That's
You hit it right there.
That's right. So, saying that, to get back to what we were saying about the women, our culture teaches us that women and girls are less valued. And you said that, brother, because women have had a long struggle to get where they are today.
Yep.
And not saying I speak against them, but they have had a long, hard struggle. And we sometimes, men, we don't appreciate how God has elevated them, but we take it as that women are better than us now. We can't get no job, we can't do the women doing all that. No, but God created you to do one thing, but you didn't take your rightful place. So God, He'll pull you to the background and then let somebody else rise up. You can see it all through the scriptures, how God will pull somebody back and let somebody else rise up.
Yep.
Very simple. And we, instead of us being there to be supportive and being loving, we there and what we do, we abuse them. And we beat them.
I'm glad you brought this up again for women, and it's important. I think we as men have to understand or try to understand a woman's perception about things. And I know I told you before, in my business, in my one of my college classes, I decided to write about Oprah. She's a woman. I understand that she went through a lot of adversity, getting talked down by men that you can't do this, you can't do that. But she's one of the wealthiest black women in today's time with her own international talk show. And so I'm writing about her, so I can learn the things that she went through as a woman, and things that she went through and how she got through it. And to me, by the amount and the way that women was getting looked down by men made them even more stronger when they became successful. So if you see a strong, successful woman, you shouldn't be intimidated. You should, look like, hey, I need to get myself together. That should motivate men.
Right.
Like, hey, I need to get myself together. I want to be able to do what I have to do and things like that. So when I see a successful woman, it doesn't intimidate me.
No, it shouldn't.
It motivates me because I know where I came from as a male, and I understand where women came from, how much they was put down so much. And it goes back to the war when all the men would go across seas to fight. So of course they needed somebody which to run the business in the family, which was the women. Because God created women
to be helpmates.
To be helpmates. And if a man can't do his job, it's a woman gonna always pick up and do much more.
That's true.
Women, when they do something, they get it done. Plus more. And when a woman is with a man, they very dedicated. And they would go all
above and beyond. Yes.
For that man or for whatever they're doing.
Absolutely.
I actually have a question for Brother Dwight on that part. So, talking about motivation, right? So, what would, if I'm a man in a certain situation and I'm trying to get motivated, how can you motivate somebody if you're not motivated yourself? How would you define that, Brother Dwight?
You're talking as far as yourself being motivated by another individual?
Right.
It's easy. Like, if you know in your mind that you want to go somewhere in life in general, and somebody's already at that point, then going on that person's leadership should motivate you. It's just like me. I want to do this and that, so what I do is I would talk or be friends with somebody who's already higher than me.
That's right.
By their success will motivate me to get there. It will help me to set goals, standards, and values and expectations for myself. Then when I get there, I will be more motivated to go even farther and further as much as possible.
But you answered the question, but how does one motivate themselves? I see what you're saying about, I really want to know this is why I'm asking the question. I'm motivated to do something, but I just don't know how to motivate myself in order
Okay,
to do that.
just like Brother Dwight said, you have to get around people that are doing what you want to do and what you want to achieve. If you can't get around them, get books, get tapes, get videos on and listen to their story on how